Hello there, Ukulele World. This is Kimo Hussey with you again, wishing you a happy Friday. I want to address a question with you that several people recently have asked me about, and most recently an ukulele friend who is Molokai Jane, by the way. Aloha Molokai Jane, Molokai Mo Better. And the question has to do with, okay, if I'm playing in a group and I don't know what key they're in, or if I'm trying to listen to something on a CD or a recording and I want to play along and I don't know what key they're playing in, how can I figure that out? And so first of all, I want to address that very directly and say that if you don't know what key the song is in, try your best to find out before you play the song. And so if you're at a kanikapila, you're at a sing-along, and they start playing and you don't know what key they're in, ask a neighbor, look at a neighbor and figure out what key they're playing in, because the kinds of things that one needs to learn before we can prepare ourselves to figure out what key something is in takes practice, and it takes learning some things that we use all the time. It also takes a certain amount of progress and practice, I should say, in learning to listen. So if we're not accustomed to listening to the right things and also looking at the right things whenever we can in figuring out what key somebody is playing in, then we've got the cart before the horse. So what I would say is, if you're trying to figure out what key something is in, try your best to figure out what key it is before you start playing. And again, the reason is if we just learn various techniques in how we can figure out what key somebody's playing in, it would be much better if we give ourselves opportunity to help our ears get trained to listen, and our eyes get trained to see what is important in order to help us do that. Okay, that being said, what kinds of things can we keep in mind, or do we keep in mind in order to figure out what key somebody's playing in? Number one, look. And if you look at somebody who's either playing with you or playing in a video or playing something, you will be able to probably figure out what key he or she is using. On the listening side, it's a different situation. On the listening side, if I were to have you figure out what key this is, or what key this is, or what key this is, what you have to do is to take some clues from what you're hearing. One of them is, okay, the string that you can hear the most, for example, in this chord, the guy can hear that string the most. So in effect, what is that? Well, in music we call that a third. And so again, it takes a little bit of practice in listening to do that. The other thing with regard to listening is we can go anywhere on the fretboard and use any string to figure out a note that fits in, harmonically fits in what we're listening to. And again, once we know what that note is, it's a matter of figuring out what interval that is. And if that seems like Greek to you, don't worry about it, because you know what? Just do what you're doing now and be patient. Eventually, that time is going to come when you're able to more directly address how it is you figure out what key somebody else is playing in. In the meantime, ask. Aloha.